What's good, people? Thank you as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. I didn't want to do another Dillian Whyte video just because I think we've all said what we needed to say about the Dillian Whyte subject, especially when it comes to him fighting Anthony Joshua, him possibly moving to top rank, him falling out of Eddie Hearn, him being upset that he's not got a world title shot, him wanting a bit more money for the AJ fight. A lot of videos have been done about Dillian Whyte, but in light of this Deontay Wilder move to the zone and the potential now of AJ versus Wilder happening, I do now believe it will happen. I've gone from it ain't going to happen ever to I think we could be closer than we've ever been. I really do believe that, just because I think there is, not just because of Deontay Wilder's move to the zone, but just because there's another mediator now. I don't know what the guy's name is. I think it's something Skipper that works for the zone. And I think he's more handling the negotiations rather than Eddie Hearn and Shelley Finkel and Al Heyman continually butting heads. So I do believe that we are closer to a Joshua Wilder fight, providing they both get through their fights against Dominic Breazeale and Jarrell Miller. If they do, and we're talking, what, June, so July, August, September, October, we could have a December showdown. I do think there's potential for a December showdown in Madison Square Garden, people. I don't think it's going to happen in the UK, which is just unbelievable. And I need to do a video actually speaking about this, because I think Sky Sports Boxing are in trouble. We'll do another video on that separately. So I was thinking about Dillian Whyte in all of this, and I can't help but go back to my video I did when I said Dillian Whyte should have accepted the AJ fight, right? Again, we're not too privy to what was on the table, but we do know that £5 million was on the table, and 4 belts. Yes, the IBO belt as well, people. 4 belts on the table. And for whatever reason, whether it be he wanted, and we're hearing that he maybe wanted 7, or because of the clause in the contract for the rematch, didn't like it. For whatever reason, he turned it down. And at the time, I did a video saying that he might not get a world title fight to the end of 2020. And I think a few people were like, what? Shut up. Don't know what you're talking about. You know, the usual stuff. Not most of the people, but a few people said that. But I think now with Deontay Wilder signing to the zone, I think now you can clearly see the path and see what I meant when I said he might not get a world title shot to 2020. And some people might say it's not about world title shots, it's about money. And I fully understand that. But for me, they come in hand now. The biggest fights you can have are for the world title, especially in the heavyweight division. Not every division, but the biggest fights you can have are for the heavyweight titles, and the fights that pay the most money are for the heavyweight titles. Just the way it is now in boxing, which is a very good thing. That's how it should be. So we're going to have a situation, I believe, where Jarrell Miller does lose, Dominic Breazeale does lose, and Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua get it on for the unification fight in, and this is all maybes and maybe nots, but I think they'll get it on in December, right? They will unless someone completely knocks the other person out, which is very possible, but they will 110% have a rematch clause put in, obviously. And they will 110% have a rematch. And all the sanctioning bodies, all of them, will agree to this rematch. None of them will say, no, we're going to strip you. Are you crazy? Do you know how much money is on the line for the sanctioning bodies? So all of them will say, you know what? You can have a rematch. So if they fight in December, there's a good chance they could have a rematch summer 2020 in the UK, right? Wembley Stadium. I think that's fair. One in Madison Square Garden, one in the UK. Again, we're just making shit up as I go along here, but this is what I think will play out. And I think it does make sense. So they'll have a rematch in June or July. What does that do for Dillian Whyte? Like I said, Dillian Whyte won't get a world title shot. So whoever wins that fight in June or July, they ain't fighting again until 2021. Am I wrong here? I mean, July, August, September, October, November, December. They're probably not fighting until 2021, people. So Dillian Whyte might not get a world title shot until 2021. Look, there are ways he can get it in terms of maybe one of them being stripped after the rematch. I don't see it. I don't see any sanctioning body stripping those two guys. Just don't see it. Both of them bring a bit too much money for the sanctioning fees. So Dillian Whyte, I don't think, and I said this on that video, I don't think, just based on what I've just done there, I don't think we'll get a world title shot. And mark my words on this one, until 2021. That's unbelievable. That is what could happen to him, people. And that is what I think will happen to him. Remember, I'm saying this. So look, both of these guys, and Wilder and Joshua, have fights coming up. I say fights coming up, we're talking a couple of months' time. If they do fight, and I think they will fight, I think that's part of this DAZN deal. They have to fight, right? If they do fight, it will be the end of 2019. They will then have a rematch, 100%. We'll then have a rematch. This isn't going to be a Wilder versus Fury situation. Both of them will be on the DAZN platform now. They will then have a rematch, July, Wembley, 90,000 people, and then other people can come and get some belts. And those other people will include maybe Fury, maybe Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte turned down the opportunity to fight AJ at Wembley, and I don't care what he says. I don't care what his team says. I don't care what his management says. He's regretting that now. He's regretting that. He, I think, did an interview just after this Top Rank thing came out and said he's not leaving Matchroom per se, but he wants Eddie Hearn to deliver him a world title shot. Eddie can't. Eddie can't. So if you're staying with Matchroom because you think Eddie Hearn can deliver you a world title shot, then you might as well go to Top Rank, because he can't. There is no way he can. There's nothing he can do to get you a world title shot. Everyone wants to see Wilder Joshua. And if that fight happens, a rematch will happen. And then you're literally out in the cold for 2 years. Boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.